Dr. Judy, I could not think of a better person to talk about this topic of the Pomodoro technique. You are the busiest person I know, but you do it with such style and grace, so we can all learn a lot from you. What is the Pomodoro technique?
Okay, so the Pomodoro technique is something that really helps us to manage our energy and our time. We always think about managing time, but time is a forward-moving construct. And before you know it, you've blown the whole day because you've been swimming in YouTube videos, distracting yourself with video games, thinking you're being productive when you're really not, maybe just puttering around the house. And I know that a lot of people have that experience right now, just adjusting to this new temporary normal that we have. And so the Pomodoro technique is amazing. It was developed by Francesco Cirillo, and he really advocated for people to just keep it simple. Like, let's work for 25 minutes on one task, no multitasking, because that's a myth anyway. And every 25 minutes, you get to take a 5-minute break. And every 3 to 4 of these Pomodoros, you take a longer break. And it really taps into how the human mind works and how we focus and attend to tasks.
How long have you been using the Pomodoro technique?
Oh, many years. I don't even remember when I started, but this has been something that I've infused in my daily living for many, many years now.
Now, is this something you do every day or just certain days?
I use the Pomodoro technique every day. Some days I use it more and some days I use it less. So there are days where my entire work schedule is almost completely built out of Pomodoros. And there are some other days where I really only use the Pomodoro technique and do maybe 3 to 4 Pomodoros total just to get through some very significant humps. And I think that the Pomodoro technique is really great for doing things that you really don't want to do, because everybody can do something for 25 minutes, even if it's not something that you're looking forward to, like billing or doing your laundry or sorting out a certain area of your room.
Excellent. So why does this help productivity? Why shouldn't I just sit down for 60 minutes and focus on something? Why is it better to do these 25-minute chunks?
Well, we get really disorganized when we have a lot of things on our mind. There's home responsibilities, parenting responsibilities, relationship responsibilities, work responsibilities, and that makes our mind really frazzled. And when we're disorganized, we can't work very well. And so the Pomodoro techniques makes it really simple, because you just have to pick one task and you just work on that task only for 25 minutes. But it helps you with being able to stay the course, because you know that as much as you dislike that technique, you only have to do it for 25 minutes before you get 5 minutes of doing whatever it is that you want. And the main thing about that 5-minute break that you have is that you actually step away from work. Sometimes you're kind of like in the zone and you're like, I'll just keep going. But actually, you got to step away. Part of why the technique works so well is that rest period that you have. And 5 minutes is actually amazing if you're really utilizing it well.
Okay, so let's I want to talk about how this can reduce anxiety. Obviously, we're a mental health channel, so we're not just doing this for time productivity. There are some mental health impacts. But before we get into that, 5 minutes doesn't seem like enough for me. Like, how do you spend your 5 minutes with the Pomodoro technique?
Okay, so some ideas, these are some of the ones that I've utilized. You can get up and make yourself some coffee or tea. You can stretch. You can go outside and take a few deep breaths. You can do a quick mindfulness activity. You can check your phone, because a lot of times when I use Pomodoros, I don't actually use my phone at all during that time. I turn everything off. I put on do not disturb. So then the 5 minutes is like my little fun dopamine hit. Maybe I check in with social media. Maybe I look at a quick little video. But I think the key is that you actually step away from your work. So during the 5 minutes, it's good that you're not sitting at the place that you were sitting at when you were working on the task for those 25 minutes.
Yeah, I'm super guilty of that. I will always kind of have work going on in the back of my mind. It's hard for me to fully separate from work. I have not done the Pomodoro technique. I'm going to try it after this. So when it comes to anxiety, how can the Pomodoro technique actually help people who struggle with anxiety?
Well, anxiety oftentimes is a condition of unmet expectations. It's about, all the things that you haven't done yet, all the things that you should have done and haven't done. How you could be a better person, a better mom, a better girlfriend, a better employee. And the anxiety builds because you feel like you can't solve your own problems. So the Pomodoro technique helps with that, because it's a very simple way to help you organize your thinking so you don't become overwhelmed with anxiety, but you're actually moving forward towards something. Even if the 25 minutes isn't enough for you to finish an entire project, in 25 minutes, you can make significant and also palpable headway. Like, you know that you've done something with those 25 minutes.
Right.
And that reduces anxiety because you feel like you're moving closer to your expectations and your goals.
Okay, so let's say I want to do this. I'm a novice and I want to do my first Pomodoro at 9 a.m. for 25 minutes. Do I have to say for these next 25 minutes, I am going to write this proposal for this new vendor? Or can I say I am going to, I'm just going to work for 25 minutes, and wherever that work takes me, it just takes me?
It's actually really important that you specify a task, because part of I'll just work for 25 minutes makes the mind feel disorganized, because there's so many ways that you can be pulled.
Yes.
Oftentimes, for example, you're working on something, you say, let me just work on whatever I have on my list today. Let's just start with number 1 and see how far I get. But then your email is up and you get text messages and you get distracted. Oh my God, I have to do this other thing too. And so the whole idea of the Pomodoro is that for those 25 minutes, it's uninterrupted. And so I've utilized it, for example, to say, let me see how far I get on clearing my email box in 25 minutes. That is a specific task. And even if at the end of 25 minutes, I'm not done clearing my email box, after my 5-minute break, I can come back and say, okay, should I do another 25 minutes of email clearing, or is it time to work on a different specific task? And so you get to make that decision moment to moment. And actually, it really helps to simplify your to-do list. And you can really only tackle one thing at a time. Our human brains are not designed for multitasking anyway. So the fact that we try to do it all the time is actually really unproductive and causes a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I will go to my email because I need to pull someone's phone number, and then I'll see a new email with a new request, and then I'll start doing that. And then that will lead me over here. And then 30 minutes later, I go, oh, I still need that phone number that I originally intended to get when I checked my email. This is something I need to do ASAP. So a lot of people are working from home now. A lot of people may be working from home for a long time, depending on their circumstances. How do you suggest that they start to implement the Pomodoro technique?
So I think the first thing that you should do is make sure that your day is kind of scheduled out in a broader fashion. So in general, definitely get up, shower, get dressed, get a workout in, and approach it as if you were going to work. Mm-hmm. Make an area for your work in the home, whether it's an office or a desk, and set aside a time frame that you're going to work. I'm going to work from 9 to 12 every morning, then I'll take a lunch break, then I'll work again from 1 to 4, and then I'll be done. And once you have those parameters in place, then you can utilize the Pomodoros to fill out those structures. Yeah. So if you have a structure of I'm going to work from 9 to 12 before I take a long lunch break, then during that 9 to 12 period, you can decide, okay, maybe I'll utilize a few Pomodoros to get me through some of the toughest tasks of the day. And I always tell people that, especially when you're working from home, it's just so easy to be distracted. That's why the Pomodoro is such a great technique, because then you're not going to be as distractible when it's like, here's the 25 minutes for me to do this task. And you can do it with other things in the home too. It doesn't just have to be about your work. It could be, okay, 25 minutes for laundry, or 25 minutes for helping my children with their homework, But if you do it that way, you feel like you're tackling things throughout the day and you have a very specified time frame for how to do it.
Excellent. Well, I have a lot more questions as they relate to the Pomodoro technique, but I'm sure we'll get to those answers throughout this series. In our next session, we're going to really focus on how people can utilize the Pomodoro technique at home, taking care of their house, their chores, their responsibilities. I know I have a pile of dirty clothes in my room right now, so I'm hoping that I can start to utilize some of the Pomodoro techniques to clean those up as well. Dr. Judy, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you in our next session.